It's about time somebody exposed this goddamn team, and who else would it be rather than me? So as my first video on this channel, I decided to just expose my favorite team, because nobody seems to want to, and I'm the only one that can keep it real, so why not? You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. We all know the Pelicans were at one point the 1 seed in the Western Conference around late December, early January, but they ended up not even making the goddamn playoffs. Getting back to last year, this team was 36-46. Pretty fucking terrible. But I do want to mention this team also was above 500 after the trade deadline when they acquired CJ McCollum. But now to end this season off, they ended up finishing 42-20, which is the first time the team has ever finished above 500 since back to Anthony Davis times. And I know we don't like to talk about that, but that was the best basketball I've seen in this goddamn city for who knows how fucking long. As I mentioned, this team did not make the playoffs once being the 1 seed, so I figured I'd dive into what seriously is wrong with this team. We all know this team has been riddled with injuries since day one. The Pelicans actually ranked 3rd in games missed. 3rd. There are 30 teams in the goddamn NBA. You might be wondering how many games missed total. Nigga, it's 233. 233 games missed, my nigga. You're playing 82 games. Versus the Miami Heat with 260, and then there's Orlando with 255. Then we have us at 3 with 233, OKC at 4 with 218, and Detroit at 5 with 217. Out of those 233 games, Jose Alvarado has missed 21 games. A lot of those games coming towards the second half of the season, which we all know consisted of that massive 10-game losing streak and just more fucking bullshit around the goddamn league. Brandon Ingram missed 37 games. We know he missed a lot of time with that toe. Earlier in the season before that, he actually got a concussion from thou we shall not name. We also employed, by the way, so that gives you a good idea that the nigga who concussed him is on the goddamn team. And we all know Zion, he missed a total of 53 games this season, and we somehow finished above 500. I don't know how. That's a miracle, goddammit. I do cut this team a little bit of slack because regardless about how you look at it, that we didn't make the playoffs or that we choked the 1 seed in the Western Conference, it's really hard for any team in the NBA to make the playoffs, let alone make the play-in. You know what I mean? Given you're missing 233 games from your respective roster, that's insane. But I'm not here to make excuses. I'm actually here to expose these niggas, so fuck that. I'm not giving these niggas no praise. Fuck this goddamn team. Apart from injuries, the roster is constructed horribly, might I add. We don't have a true point guard, and the person who's running the point guard position isn't even a point guard. He's actually a 2 guard being forced to play the point guard position, which he's pretty mediocre at because he's never played it before. I've been trying to piece together why we didn't just go get a point guard, which is what we needed more. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. I just don't know, my nigga. On top of that, you have a center that doesn't get used properly and also just can't play defense to save his life. The best center on the team is 6'8". It's not our starting center. No, it's our bench center, Larry Nance Jr. That's our best center. I'm still getting used to this whole NBA content creation thing on YouTube, so I can't really get any crazy statistics yet. Maybe into the later future. But as far as I know, nigga, Jonas Valanciunas has not played a single minute in overtime this season. You wanna know why? Because he's fucking a defensive liability. I never thought that we would make the finals just because we have our best center is literally like what, 31-year-old Larry Nance Jr. who's 6'8". He's gonna be closing out games in the NBA Finals. You telling me Game 7 of the NBA Finals, the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Philadelphia 76ers, 2024. You're closing out a game with Larry Nance Jr. on Embiid? That doesn't even make sense. You can't even seriously like think that. They'd be like, yeah, I can see that happening. No. You wanna know why? Because who the fuck is closing out a game with Larry Nance Jr.? In reality, who the fuck is closing out a game with Jonas Valanciunas? That whole center room needs a goddamn revamp. That roster construction is horrible. And it's worse because David Griffin knows that. And he also knows that we are riddled with injuries every single season. This is not the first time B.I. has missed a significant amount of games. This is not the first, obviously not the first time Zion had missed a tremendous amount of games. Where your two superstar players, the players you built around, you know that they missed a significant amount of time each and every season. There hasn't been one season where they were both remotely healthy, let alone one of them being remotely healthy. And then you don't construct the roster to try to combat that. And what makes it all worse is, they knew that going into this season and they had the opportunity to change something at the trade deadline, but they did nothing. I shouldn't say they did nothing. You wanna know what they did? These niggas went out and got Josh fucking Richardson. Josh fucking Richardson. It doesn't make sense to me why he did that, but I get it. It's not a bad move, but we had more areas to work on rather than a goddamn bench shooting guard who wasn't even playing good, by the way. The entire Western Conference literally got better at the trade deadline. These niggas went out and got Josh fucking Richardson. We all know that the Suns got KD, the Grizzlies got Luke Kennard, the Mavs got Kyrie Irving, and the Kings got somebody. Denver got somebody, I forgot who they got. The Clippers obviously got Westbrook. The entire Western Conference, and we all know what the goddamn Lakers did. They revamped their whole entire roster. And now look at them in the goddamn Western Conference Finals. You can't make this shit up. And this nigga, David Griffin, went and got Josh Richardson. And on top of that, you have quite literally no bench scoring. And I mean, I get that's why you went and got Josh Richardson. But in reality, he didn't contribute much in terms of coming off the bench and scoring. He wasn't a lethal shooter. He wasn't a playmaker. He didn't even really have a goddamn mid-range. He wasn't a shot creator or anything like that, which is exactly what we needed on the bench. He did none of that. He was strictly a spot-up shooter. He had his moments where he would do like a few dribbles and pull up for a mid-range or fade away. Other than that, it was nothing significant that really moved me or anybody. Don't really know how it moved David Griffin. And like I'm not gonna say I would rather have Devontae Graham. If we're being totally honest, at least the nigga was cool. You know what I'm saying? He drove a nice vehicle. He wasn't consistent, but goddamn it, Josh Richardson really is not that much fucking better. And at least we could have kept the goddamn chemistry. On top of everything else that's wrong with this goddamn team, the one thing that pissed me off the most was the lack of effort that I've seen. I know we saw towards the end of the season this team went on like a 5-game win streak, 6 games, something like that. But they lost 2 crucial games, which quite literally cost them a playoff spot. They had that time in Houston. I think it was the first game of Houston. Jabari Smith game winner. That was the loss that we shouldn't have taken. We shouldn't have even been that close into the game with the Houston Rockets, by the way. Jabari Smith game winner. Fast forward maybe a few games later, maybe a week or so, you're playing the Golden State Warriors, defending NBA champs in Golden State. You're up by 20 at half or something similar to that, and you somehow manage to blow the lead and get blown out. You lost by like 10, 15 plus points at the end of regulation. That was a costly game. I don't know how you continue to do this. This is something that's been going on all season. You're up at half, you lose fire, and then now it's a tie game going into the fourth. I also saw a lot of times where, yeah, we'd be winning, but let's say a loose ball, nobody's diving forward. You could have dove forward, you chose not to. Lack of effort. I don't like that on my team. I don't like that in my city. Whoever is watching this, if you're associated with the Pelicans, pass this video on. Stop doing that shit. Okay? Stop. We pay you for nothing. We pay you to dive, nigga, dive. There were a few things actually that went right for this team, something that I can actually like look forward to in the future for this team. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this team was the first seed in the Western Conference. But I'm not gonna say a decent mark, but we had like a game or 2, or maybe even 3 that we had above the second seed. And then we were a top 5 seed for, I wanna say a month? That's more than I've quite literally ever witnessed in this goddamn city. I've never seen this team be a top 5 seed and hold that spot for long. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we did it in the AD era. I can't really remember that we held a top 5 seed. I think 2017, 2018, somewhere around there, we finished a 6 seed, but I can't recall ever being a top 5 seed for like a month, right? That was something that I really liked. Granted, that entire 1 seed journey was quite literally carried by the player of the month, Zion. He averaged like 27, 28, 6 and 5 or something crazy like that. some real MVP shit. There's very few people in this league that's 6'9", 6'10", shooting that bitch from 25, 30 feet out and making that bitch. There's only literally like maybe 2-3 players in the NBA that could do that, and that's going to Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, and Trae Young. So you're already in a good crowd right there, Trey Murphy. He's got to work on putting the ball on the ground more. All that does for him is create more shot attempts, and which means more makes and more points, because he averaged, I want to say, about 20 points per game within his last like 5-10 games, and that's with Brandon Ingram playing. So unfortunately, he was the third option scoring 20 points. I say he's the third because unfortunately CJ is the second, but Trey was the third option, averaging like 20 points throughout that little stretch, and it's been really good to watch. I think he's averaging, throughout this season, I want to say about 15-16 points, which isn't that bad considering we know what happened last season with him in and out of the G League. You know what I'm saying? On the team, not getting PT, on the team, barely getting any PT. You know what I mean? So it was great to see him play well this season. On top of that, when we was the 1 seed, social media kind of gave us our flowers. You know, a lot of people kind of started looking at us a little bit more as competitors rather than a pushover. I know there were a few teams in this league that kind of looked at us like that. Won't say any names, Lakers, Warriors, Grizzlies. But honestly, I feel like we kind of got a little bit of respect. Not the amount that I feel like we deserve. But honestly, we didn't make the playoffs. We don't deserve no goddamn respect right now. But I felt like at the time, we should have deserved more when we was the 1 seed. And like I said in the beginning of the video, this was the first time this team has ever finished above 500 since the AD era. And that's saying a lot because we know that that era was great. We had great pieces. We didn't have a great team, but we had great pieces. AD, Drew, Rondo, Boogie, that was a great time for the Warriors basketball. And we haven't had anything like that since. So we haven't made the playoffs since then. With all that being said, the truth about this team is that we're not that good. You know, and I only say that because of the injuries, because of the roster construction. That's what doesn't make us good. Obviously, roster construction will make a team good or bad, but that's not what I mean. Obviously, if you heard me say earlier, that wasn't really about the roster construction. It was more about trying to combat your players missing injuries. Well, not missing injuries, missing games, knowing that's inevitable. That's really what I meant by roster construction. Now, that's not to say that maybe next season Zion, instead of playing 30 games, he plays 50 or 60, or BI plays 70 games. You know, that's not to say that happens and that we're still ass. But it's really hard for me to say that, yeah, this is going to be the season that Zion plays more than 50 games or BI plays more than 60 games. It's hard to say that because it really hasn't happened, so I can't say that. So given the fact that that's probably the inevitable, I'm just going to say we fucking suck. Future of this team is kind of a little scary because I don't know what's in everyone's head right now, and it could really go the wrong way or the right way. I've been a fan of this team since I was born, basically. So I've watched the ups and downs, you know what I mean? But I also know that since David Griffin is here, he's not the smartest pea in the bunch, or whatever the fuck the fucking the little riddle is, whatever you want to call it. Alright, synonym, anonym, I don't know. This could go wrong. They could go out, feel like they need to make a trade for the wrong nigga. I don't want to get into what we need to trade for and what we don't need to trade for. That's a whole other video. But I don't want us to do something that doesn't really help us, that they think will help us. You see what I'm saying? If you see what I'm saying, you see what I'm saying. And if you don't see what I'm saying, then you don't see what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't want to fuck up. And I am scared. I am scared for the future because I don't know how much longer I have it in me to support this goddamn team. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more. I want to start posting NBA content. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. See you on the next one, man. Adios.